Hello, this is the non-dual lectionary for the 12th Sunday after Pentecost in year A. We are continuing on with Matthew. This one I think is, this is one I think it's tough to glean something from, but let's give it a try. So our lesson this week is from Matthew chapter 15, verses 21 through 28. Jesus left that place and went away to the district of Tyre and Sidon. Just then a Canaanite woman from that region came out and started shouting, "Have mercy on me, Lord, Son of David. My daughter is tormented by a demon." But he did not answer her at all. And his disciples came and urged him, saying, "Send her away, for she keeps shouting after us." He answered, "I was sent only to the lost sheep of the house of Israel." But she came and knelt before him, saying, "Lord, help me." He answered, "It is not fair to take the children's food and throw it to the dogs." She said, "Yes, Lord, yet even the dogs eat the crumbs that fall from their master's table." Then Jesus answered her, "Woman, great is your faith. Let it be done for you as you wish." And her daughter was healed from that moment. So, some tough stuff right on the top. I mean, first of all, it's got Jesus being seemingly pretty exclusive and also like, you know, seemingly like self-important, right? Like, that faith idea, right? Like your faith in me, right? Like I was sent only to this group and not that group. Um, and obviously a lot of people read it that way. So, just a couple things that I think we can at least, sink into a little bit, right? So, first of all, the end result here, right, is no matter what Jesus says in the middle, that this is available to everybody, right? This woman who isn't part of the in group, um, isn't part of the select, right? And she doesn't have to prove, and there's a little proofing, right? Like, but she doesn't have to do a ceremony. She doesn't have to adopt a creed. She doesn't, right? That it's simply her, faith. Let's put a pin in that. But that opens her to to what is, right? To what can be here. Um, and I think we have to read this if we want to glean like some a non-dual lectioner, this we have to read it as an allegory in a way, right? Um, so for in the reading, there's a actual physical thing that happens, right? And that's sort of the point apparently of the reading, right? Is that she wants her daughter healed, and her daughter does get healed. Um, but the allegory here is right seems more like so when we're right, non-dual means non-dual, right? It means no separation. It means the apparent spiritual, right? Or the apparent the absolute versus the relative, or whatever you want to put it there, right? That they're not really separate. Um, and so oftentimes, I mean, I do this as much as anybody, if you've been watching these, right? Is we kind of in everyday life we privilege like the relative, right? And when we're talking in this way, we can kind of end up privileging the absolute, right? Or the spiritual. What's Jesus really doing here? He's not actually interacting and dealing with a human woman, right? It's really some bigger thing that's really about the mind or reality or something like that, right? But they're not separate. That's the that's I mean, if non-dual means non-dual, then it means non-dual. So I want to include both of those. And the first is, I'm not saying that Jesus actually healed the person, cast out a demon, whatever, right? But at the same time, in dealing with an actual human woman with an actual human problem, right? There's also an allegory here at the same time of a person saying, I need to trust in something bigger than me, right? For whatever reason. Here, daughter tormented by a demon, right? But something is driving her to say, I need something bigger. And at the same time I recognize something bigger because she doesn't just say, "Could you help me? I don't know if you are useful or not." She says, No, like give me the crumbs that you offer, right? So that opening, right? That in a way is everybody's first step down whatever path that this is, right? It has to be because it has to be something like, what my apparent perception here, limited in only that way, right? In only that way, because it's included, but is like there's something more, and it often has to come from a sense of like I need something more, right? It's not just enough to be curious that there might be something, hey, maybe not, right? But something that can take apart, right? That can, the metaphors get used like, dying to the self, right? It's not a small thing. So taking apart the way that I seem to see the world. And so here then, we've got a woman who reaches outside of her faith, to somebody else's faith, outside of her faith tradition, I mean, right? Outside of her religious tradition, and is desperate and, is willing to be opened up and torn down in that way. Just the metaphors, just the crumbs, just please give me the crumbs. I need something, anything, right? Richard Rohr says great love and great suffering can be the things that open us to something bigger. And so, we can see that here. And then so, you know, the sort of surface stuff too, right? Like Jesus is going outside of his religious tradition as well, right? It doesn't say, well, as long as you, accept Judaism or accept me as your Lord and Savior, even, right? Like, it happens no matter what, uh, simply because of that, here what I might call desperation, right? And recognition at the same time of something bigger. And so there's like this glimpse of recognition, right? We can see that in ourselves too, right? This glimpse of like, oh, there's something there. I don't know what it is, but I'm desperate and I need it. And that's the first step for all of us, right? I mean, if it's real, it's some sense of like a glimpse of something bigger and a sense that like I need that, right? Whether it's because I need an end to suffering, right? Or I need to know the truth, right? Or I need to, whatever it is, something like that core motivation that just says, I can't do without this. And so, it's all there in the story here. And fundamentally, right? Like if I mean, so it's two things at the same time here too, right? Is one, um, to really engage with like this path, the spiritual path or the path that really goes to a real recognition, not just dabbling, right? Like it has to be that. Um, and so I think we can hopefully all in a way see that same sort of opening, the recognition and the desperation, right? As an initial step. And at the same time, right, like it's actually fundamentally true that at core, what is that that's all of our state, right? We all have some glimpse of recognition because if it's real, if non-dual recognition really means anything, it's recognizing what's already present, right? So it's already there, and it's the core of what we are and so need and desperate. There's a desperation to it, even if we don't recognize it. So even in this one, I think there's some stuff that, some rich stuff that fundamentally always, talks about like, hey, this is what's going on right now. And if we have eyes to see, right, then it can open up something for us too.